Hello folks, it's good old Norm the teacher again, and I'm going to teach you something else. And today's video is going to be again on the Taurus G2C handgun. And today I'm going to talk about the what I call the Cartrige Stripper. Taurus doesn't really give it a name, at least in their diagrams that that's in the manual that they supply. In the technical drawings, they might have a name for this part, but they don't give it to us in the manual. So I gave it a name, and it's the Cartrige Stripper. And what it is, it's an area on the cartridge or on the faceplate. Right here, here's the whole faceplate. The faceplate is what the firing pin, where the firing pin hole is, and where the back of the cartridge presses against when it's seated inside the chamber. Well, this area of the faceplate is the Cartrige Stripper. And the reason I call it that, filming with two cameras here, so I gotta move it around a little bit. The Cartrige Stripper, what it does is it does just that. It strips a cartridge off of the magazine, the top of the magazine, and pushes it on into the chamber. And it catches this little area right here. See this kind of like 180-degree dome area here? It catches that area, but of course not hitting the primer. We don't want it to hit the primer. And it hits that, and it hits that when the gun is, when the slide has gone back and cocked the gun, and then the recoil spring is pulling it forward again, and this stripper, Cartrige Stripper, pulls that cartridge off the top of the magazine and inserts it into the chamber. Now I'm going to show you here. I'm going to show you how it works without the barrel in. And I've loaded an empty case. I've loaded an empty case into the magazine just for safety purposes. I took out all the live ammo and I just put an empty case. Remember, safety, safety, safety. Anytime you're dealing with a gun and you're disassembling it, cleaning it, showing people stuff, whatever, always safety. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the magazine in with that empty case in, and here's what happens. The recoil, or the recoil causes the gun to come back. Right there. And notice how that when it did that, there was a little bit of a spring up right here, because there was a little bit of contact with that that case. And here's right here. This is what sprung up a little bit right here, right there. And that allows it to be higher than the Cartrige Stripper. Then, when the recoil spring pulls back the slide, notice what happens. It's now stripping this case off of the magazine, and of course there's no chamber for it to go into, so it just kind of fell out here. And then it continues to close. Okay, there. It continues to close, and then the gun's ready to shoot. Of course, there's no barrel in it right now, for demonstration purposes. Okay, so that's the Cartrige Stripper. There's nothing real complex about it. Here's one thing I'll caution you about, though. If you're like me, who sometimes will take things and weld metal back to get things to work again when they wear out, like I did with an automatic transmission once, where the oil pump went out and the veins that are in it, they're supposed to slide up and down and allow oil to come in and scoop in more oil. And those little pieces of metal have to slide up and down but not waver. Well, I had one that wavered, so I welded metal back to all the little veins. Now that worked great for an automatic transmission. I drove the car for thousands of miles after that because of that fix. Matter of fact, that pump locked up and ruined the transmission and broke the shaft when that happened, and so I put a new shaft in also. Okay, for a transmission, maybe okay. Don't do that with a gun. And especially this part, and I want to show you why. This area, when it hits the primer, or when it hits the back of the cartridge, it's coming awful close to the primer. You know, it's hitting right in this area, right here, right in this area. Let's say you weld back some metal. Let's say that became severely worn, and the cartridge stripper isn't stripping the cartridge anymore. Don't weld metal back to try to fix that. Just get a new gun. If you've used the gun that much, you've probably worn out a lot of other parts also, and just consider yourself having got your money's worth of fun out of that gun and practice, and just get another gun. Don't weld metal back, because let's say that you do, and you have a little bead, a weld bead or something that sticks out that you didn't think anything of, and it sticks down a little further than it did when it was a factory. Well, that little bead just might hit the primer and cause that case to explode. Now that would not be a good day. Okay, so with guns, don't try welding metal back to parts and like I did with that transmission. So yeah, so this is a pretty simple explanation here. There's not a whole lot to say on it. And I only want to cover things, the central theme of what I cover on things. So I think I'll conclude this video, and now you know what the cartridge stripper does. And don't look for that in the Taurus manual, because you won't find it. It's just a name that I attributed to it, because that's exactly what it does. It strips the cartridge off the top of the... And don't modify it. Don't weld metal back to that area to get it to strip off cartridges anymore. Just get yourself a new gun. And a Taurus gun's a pretty cheap gun anyway compared to other guns, and so it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so this is kind of a short video, and I thank you for watching, and I will be making another video on this Taurus G2C gun, and when I'm done with it, I'll start on another gun. So, so long YouTube friends out there, and I'll see you in the next video.